Welcome back to Follow Through. You make sure you're following us on Instagram at Follow Through Show, Twitter at FT Through Show, Facebook at Follow Through, and you can email us at followthrough.podcast at gmail.com. Make sure you're following our personal Instagrams. You can follow Eli McCoy61, Clay at Clay2Mac. You can follow Blake at BlakeMCO2, and you can finally follow me at Daxon Crow. Thank the Lord.
Nice.
Let's go. Today on the show, we're going to be talking a little bit of college football week 3 recap. We're going to have Sure Thing or Sham, which it's Blake's turn to run it. NFL week 2 recap. We're going to have our biggest winner, our biggest loser, and our player of the week. We have hot in here. All this today and more on Follow Through. And welcome to Follow Through. Video is back. Last week we had some technical difficulties. Blake is here on the Blake Slim Jim Man cam.
What's up?
He's here. You can finally see his face. And we're going to get started rather quickly today.
Yes, I like it. Get right into it.
Because there was a big weekend of college football. You had Penn State versus Auburn, Cincinnati versus Indiana, Nebraska versus Oklahoma, Florida versus Alabama, and BYU versus Arizona State. Let's go ahead and start with Cincinnati versus Indiana. I'll tell you one thing. Boy, do those Cincinnati Bearcats look good.
They do, and
I know exactly what to say.
yeah, your Hoosiers don't.
Yeah, I completely agree. I said it last week. I was off the train.
They did better for that first quarter.
The most impressive thing from Indiana this weekend is that their fans tore off an entire bleacher.
That was crazy.
The coolest thing they've done this whole season, and probably the only good thing they're going to do all season.
That was very cool.
Dang.
But Indiana did that first quarter. They were on it, man. They looked like they had come out, ready to play, and then just straight downhill after that.
Can you do that again for me?
That was good. That was good second round.
Straight downhill. Cincinnati opened it back up, and they never really looked back. I feel like if this game, it wasn't Indiana, never mind.
Yeah.
That was huge, being able to answer like that on the road, especially for a team like Cincinnati, who, no offense to the American Conference, but you're not really playing in those hostile environments week in and week out.
Are you sure the USF Bulls aren't putting in an absolute hostile environment?
I mean, maybe UCF, every 2 years at UCF, I'm sure that crowd is pretty decently sized, but it's nothing like playing a Big Ten team on the road, especially when you're a top 10 team. So they answered very well when starting out down. They were down by at least 2 scores.
I experienced that firsthand this week on Big Ten environment on the road.
Didn't get to see a ton of it, but Desmond Ridder, big one next week against Notre Dame. No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Notre
Dame plays Wisconsin.
I know they
this
play
week.
them back to back.
Yeah.
He's got a chance. This is a great chance for a non-Power 5 school to make a run at the playoffs.
For sure.
Completely agree with that. Let's move on to BYU versus Arizona State. My only thing, I've seen one highlight from this entire game. So I'm going to let y'all take this one away.
I'm gonna go back just real quick. Michael Penix Jr. has got to play better football. He has been horrendous.
I was trying to get away from that.
17 of 40, 224, 3 picks.
They just fell apart after the first quarter.
Pause. This puts him at, I think, 8 or 9 picks through 3 weeks of the season.
It's bad. And for somebody who showed so much promise last year, I mean, maybe this is just like a COVID miracle, and he just happened to play good. That team in general just happened to play good.
I'm telling you, it's the COVID,
but it
magic.
It has not looked good. Not looked good for these guys. But that's all. I just wanted to mention that before we moved on. But BYU, Arizona State. BYU, maybe we need to wake up a little bit. 3-0, 3 Pac-12 wins. They've won three games against Pac-12 teams. I thought the absence of Zach Wilson was going to kind of, leave them with a little hole to fill, but they went Jaron Hall, 15 for 27, 214, 2 tutties, 2 interceptions. Not great, but then again, you look at the other side, and Jaden Daniels threw 2 picks and no touchdowns. So they played well enough to win. Again, it's going to be hard for this team to make the playoff. I don't see them going undefeated, but you never know. They've proved us wrong so far. They look better than I thought they did. Their defense was very good.
Yeah, I thought this was a big game for Kalani Sitake, the coach of BYU. I think this is him setting himself up if he does this season. I think he could be one of those potential candidates for a USC coaching job. You haven't really heard that name a lot, but he has really shown, and like I said, I didn't get to watch much of the game live. Went back and watched a few of the highlights in the past couple of days just because we were in the stadium and it was playing about the same time. And then after that, we had a lovely drive. But he's building a program, and it's very clear that it is a program. And it's impressive for him as a coach.
It's one of those Pac-12 at night games.
Yeah, looking back, I agree with what you said about Zach Wilson. I thought that would leave a big gap. And then this is a big win for them. I picked Arizona State personally. I thought they would go in and get it done. But that environment was pretty sweet to see. Mm-hmm. And, being able, like you said, to replace Zach Wilson is the biggest thing. And they seem to be able to have done that and have a good shot at, winning 10 to 12 games this year.
I mean, I didn't even pick BYU to even be close in that game, and they came out there and did their thing.
That's just these Pac-12 teams, especially the ranked ones, they always do this crap. UCLA did it.
Yeah.
It's just
what did we keep repeating? Please do not slip up to keep yourself a playoff.
Start to make a name for yourself, and then you lose games that you're not supposed to lose. And BYU's a good team. I'm not as hard on Arizona State as I am UCLA. But speaking of good teams, Fresno State is a good team as well because they almost took care of Oregon with their good defensive players.
No doubt.
Those two weren't out.
And the game, and not a game, they had control of that game the whole game, and Oregon had late heroic comebacks. And, I mean, they've proven themselves to be a top team. Any other thoughts from the BYU-Arizona State game? I mean, it was really BYU's game from the get-go. I felt like they came out and played very solid. I mean, you come out and you go first quarter, you're tied at the end of it, but then you score 14 straight and they don't score. And then, Arizona State came back in the third and then they put it away with a late touchdown.
Looking at the rest of the Cougars' schedule, it's just – I talked about maybe a playoff run. It's going to be tough. The schedule has – I mean, there's some Power 5 teams left, Baylor, Virginia, USC, but I don't know if those teams are quite good enough to really establish yourself. So I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, and I wouldn't be surprised if they slip up somewhere along the way.
Well, let's go ahead and get into one of the games that y'all all won and I lost, but I was not terribly wrong. Nebraska versus Oklahoma. I thought it was a very good game from this Nebraska team. Oklahoma just showed that they were the better team overall.
I'm going to take the lead on this one. Nebraska should have beaten Oklahoma at Oklahoma, which is a huge feat. I think really they really surprised me, but they should have won this game. Their kicker missed, maybe blocked two. What?
Yeah. No,
he missed two before the block.
Yes. He got the extra point blocked. He missed 2 field goals. All right, that's 6 points. Gets an extra point blocked. That's 7, and then they return that for 2, which makes it 9. That's 9 points on special teams that you've lost either way, and you lose by 7. In my opinion, I think Nebraska should have won this game by at least 3 if they get it done on special teams.
Well, I mean, early in the game, I want to say they're both in the first quarter, you missed 2 field goals, pretty much on back-to-back drives from what I can remember. We were eating when this game was playing. Yep. But, you missed 2 field goals where they were obvious field goal makes, not even long, hard field goals. You miss those. You get it blocked. I mean, that's really not – if you're the kicker, that's not always your fault. That could be the hold, the snap.
I'm not blaming it on anybody.
But – you also, like Eli said, you get it returned, so therefore you put yourself in a bad situation already. You had a chance to go down and score at the end of the game too. So, I mean, it's not in there. I would say this loss goes on another slow start from Nebraska's offense.
It's very disheartening to go on the road and really play well enough offensively and defensively to win the game against the number 3 team in the nation at their place and lose it on special teams. That's very disheartening, and I would have loved to see Nebraska pull that one out.
This is like one of the first times in recent memory since I can remember that Oklahoma has relied on their defense to win them a football game.
Yeah.
Because the offense just wasn't getting it done. Spencer Rattler has not been impressive so far. 24-34 for only 214. That's just not – and I know in looking at that, he didn't turn the ball over, so there's a positive. But, looking at that off initial glance, it's not bad, but just with a name that big, with that much hype surrounding him, you just expect more than 23 points against a Nebraska team who isn't bad. But, I mean, talent-wise, man, it's really not that close just on skill level positions. The 5 stars for Oklahoma, I'm sure, outnumber Nebraska's a ton.
Oh, yeah.
And they can't – and the fact that they can't – and this isn't just Nebraska. They've struggled with Tulane. Yeah. So there is definitely room for concern for Oklahoma. But I agree with Eli. I thought Nebraska played really well enough to win the game. I thought Martinez played good.
Yeah.
It's just, unfortunate stuff happened and they couldn't pull it out. But it was a good game.
I think what I saw from it was just like I watched a few of the first quarter and it looked like Nebraska's coaching was just awful, man. I mean, offensive coordinator was just calling some like bad play calls from when I was watching. Like they had a 3rd and 7, I think. and they had a chance to go up on Oklahoma, and they ran a draw, and it was completely blown up.
Blake
and they
didn't like
lost
the draw
yards.
call there. He didn't like it.
It was awful, man.
Well, and my thing and I said that this game really goes on Nebraska's slow start offense. Okay, you score 3 in the first quarter, should have been 6. You score 2 in the you score 0 in the second quarter. Third quarter you score 6. Fourth quarter you score 7. Here's the deal: Oklahoma opens up the game with a 14-play, 75-yard drive, scores a touchdown with a 1-yard sneak from Rattler. Nebraska goes on the same drive, 14-play drive, and then they're stopped, and Connor Colps kicks a career-long 51-yard field goal. You can't have a 14-play drive take up that much clock and not score a touchdown.
Yes.
And that's my point. They took off a lot of time, but it was one of those old-style games, and I thought it was for your Nebraska. It gives you hope that you can compete the rest of the season, which you haven't really shown against any other credible team that you've played this season.
Yeah.
And that last drive I don't know if y'all got to watch it, but Nebraska's last drive was awful. Like, I don't know what was going on. It was terrible. Blake talked about how bad the play calling was. They didn't stand a chance. It was going to be hard to do it anyways because you didn't have any timeouts, but they did not give themselves a chance.
Well, and that's the thing that you saw against Illinois, that last drive they had where they could go down, and I think it was to tie the ball game. It was bad play calling. Their late game situationing really needs to get moved around, and what Blake's point was true. Let's go and move to Alabama versus Florida. For me, this game comes down to 2 narratives. I got to watch a good bit of this game. I've watched back highlights. Florida's a slow start away from beating Alabama, and for Bama, this is either a wake-up call or a sign that's what's to come in the rest of your SEC schedule. And I think that I really think I'm leaning on it's a wake-up call.
No doubt.
I think it's a wake-up call.
They're fine. Let's swing it over
But
there.
you've got to get it lined up.
Can we
Playback,
swing it
what's
to
your
the-
opinion on this?
You want to kick this off?
I
or you
think
want
we
me
should
to
swing
me
it
to
to
kick it
Blake
off?
Cam.
kick it off, Blake? Got a little
As
Slim
an
Jim.
Alabama fan,
Uh-oh.
look, we looked great in the first quarter. Defense looked absolutely stunning. Offense was great, but after that first quarter, I don't know what was wrong. Like, our offense-wise, it was just couldn't get enough protection. Like, play calling was just not there. And then defense just absolutely falls apart. Can't make a tackle, missed assignments. Like, and we're not sending pressure at all. We're not even loading the box. He's got 10 minutes in the pocket back there, and then we just blow coverage. In my opinion, I don't know. It's either
Hey,
Let me just say this. Blake
you-
is really down on him, and he's really concerned about the next few weeks.
Here you go.
I am.
You've got a week in between, and I said we were going to save it, but go ahead and give what your hot take is for 2 weeks away from now.
I think if we play
Don't say I think. Say what
Look,
you said.
Say what you told us.
if we play like we did against Florida, against Ole Miss, a team that has a bye week this week, to get prepared for Alabama, I think as an Alabama fan, we're going to get beat by Ole Miss.
All right. That's
But last night he was guaranteeing. I
that
wasn't
his
even a
hot
part of this
take?
conversation. I was just told.
is that your hot take?
No, that's not my
Okay.
take.
I don't
I don't disagree with it, but I don't think ever that me and you talked about it all day this afternoon. There's not a time when Nick
swear.
Saban's on the sideline that you walk into a game and think you have no chance of winning.
I agree. Clay, what
Ole
are your
Miss
thoughts?
just looks really good.
What's your take?
I got fired up in this one. I'm not gonna lie. I went into this game nervous. I didn't like it was being played in Gainesville in the first place, and then we come out and we start wrecking them, and I'm like, okay, what was I nervous for?
Yeah.
You're sitting there roll tide, Paul.
What am I nervous for? I'll tell you what got them back in the game, and it's the offensive play calling of Bill O'Brien. Let me tell you why, and I'm going to cut him some slack because this is his third game. But you go up 21-3. You have literally taken them out of the game. The crowd is not loud. They almost feel the defense is deflated. I mean, you've given up 3 straight touchdowns. Your offense is, other than the first drive, they're not moving the ball. And you come out here and you keep throwing the ball, and you get 3 consecutive 3-and-outs in the second quarter. And it's not 3 consecutive 3-and-outs where you're running the ball and running the time off. You're throwing incomplete passes, and you're stopping the clock. So you're not even having minute drives. You're punting the ball back to Florida, putting your defense back on the field, who was just out there 2 minutes ago. They're gassed, and it ultimately let them back in the game. They score 1 touchdown before the half ends. The crowd kind of lifts up, and then I'm thinking, okay, it's 21-9, we're good. They come out second half, score on their opening possession, and then you're like, holy crap. This, and now, the place is booming now. They're back into it. You let them back in the game. And then ultimately, Alabama only scored one touchdown in the second half.
Yes. So let me give you a look. When you said that you put your offense out there and you go 3 and out, let me put you into the life of an Auburn fan with that statement minus the 21 straight points.
Yeah.
That's what we deal with every weekend. That I have to say what you said was so true, though, the play calling. And here's the deal. Bill O'Brien got so much love the past 2 weeks and to show up against Miami. I really think it's the factor that they really haven't played anybody this season. I think it proves more hate on Miami again, that they're not a legit football team. And I think it says a lot about Florida, that they can actually come back and
they're a lot better
compete.
than I thought. And it would have been different if they'd have kept throwing because the run game wasn't working. Brian Robinson averaged over 5 yards of carry. The run game was working fine.
We brought in McClellan, and he was running the ball fine. But then it's just like,
and you just abandoned it, and you're up 21-3. You're not supposed to abandon the run when you're up 21-3. That's when you establish it and take their heart.
If it ain't broke,
and you didn't, and you let him back in the game.
Come on, man.
And I thought Emory Jones played pretty good.
I was about to say I thought he had a really good game.
I was
showed
not
up as a quarterback
him to do that. He was playing excellent.
You're a failed 2-point conversion away. And here's me and Eli talked about the stadium. We didn't get to watch the 2-point conversion. We're sitting on ESPN scrolling and seeing when the update's gonna come back. But don't you know you have a 2-point play in your pocket that you're sitting there thinking, if we have this come up in a game, this is gonna score.
I just have to give props to Drew Sanders. He came in and he was getting pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah,
yes.
he's fine.
He was getting pressure on the quarterback every play, and he absolutely read the crap out of that 2-point conversion.
He tackled both of them.
Yes, stayed with him the entire time, so Emory Jones couldn't get that read option off.
It was a really good game. I thought that it, like I said, I think it's a slow start from Florida, and I think it's either a really good wake-up call for Alabama, which is what, as an Auburn fan and a SEC, I think that's what I believe.
Oh, it is.
I think it's a wake-up call.
We all need to relax.
And one last thing, if I can see a QB draw coming, why can the person who not does it for a living see that coming?
I agree.
They would
100%.
when the pocket is empty and there's not a linebacker in the middle of the field. What do you think he's going to do?
Our linebackers were non-existent that entire game.
They just run straight up the middle. I saw Joe Burrow do it 7 times against us when he freaking ran us off the field, and I see it with Emory Jones, and I'm like, what are we doing? Made me so mad. I would call it, be like, QB draw right here. Hike. And then the little fake he would do, like,
oh my God.
How do you fall for that? That does not look conceiving at all. But go to the next game. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm worried.
It's flooding right now like it did in Tuscaloosa. If you hear
worried.
the rain in the background. In the South, it is an absolute washout this past week. And let's go ahead and talk about the last game of the week. Let's talk about the biggest game of the week, the College Game Day game of the week, Auburn versus Penn State. Just to talk about a little bit about our trip, Penn State have the nicest fans in the country.
Incredible.
Absolutely generous. Gave us a free parking pass to the game. They were selling for at $200 on StubHub.
First guy we met.
Stud.
Inviting us to tailgates left and right. You're going to get your occasional douchebag fans, and those are always going to be fraternity brothers and sorority sisters. I will say the sorority sisters are meaner than the fraternity brothers there.
Yeah, the girls are the ones that
they're trashy. Just trash.
Yelling at us. Which you're gonna get.
They're a tool in the shed out back.
You were just wondering why they're. I understand the guys kind of
Yeah, I've never heard so many FUs from girls.
Why are yeah? I didn't get that, but beyond that,
great fans.
I can't.
Other than the FUs, they're great.
And it was it's literally just the occasional girl.
I asked you were there. I asked somebody in line when we were getting food because they have this big thing at the stadium, the chicken dinner basket. I asked him, I said, is there a big gap? Do the older fans out of college and college fans not get along here because of the way they act? And they were like, pretty much. And she was kind of like, it's different even so from when we were in college just 5 years ago. She was like, they just don't get along because they're really hatred and we care about what people think. They asked us multiple times, have you had a good time? Have we shown you a good experience here in State College?
Every single person that you were near, they would make it a point to ask you how your weekend was and, if you've been taken care of. And then occasionally you'll get, well, come by our tailgate and, hang out with us and eat with us. And I'm like, that's insane because I probably, I don't see that a lot. And you don't really want to eat with the people that pull for the other team. But the first guy we met handed us a parking ticket, here, y'all take this. We understand you don't know necessarily how to get around here or, that you're going to need one of those. So he handed us one. And then the next guy gives us a tailgate. So other than, you're going to get your occasional, everybody's on you because you're wearing a different color. But, other than that, I can't get over how just welcoming everybody was. And it was an awesome experience.
My only problem about how nice they were is I never have heard so many good lucks from the opposing team, and I did not like that one bit.
It's probably like
they kept saying,
good luck.
Well, good luck in the game. Good luck in the game. Hey, good luck to you. Good luck. No, I don't want to hear that.
Not,
Please,
yeah, that's not
I prefer. I feed off the hey, we're the hated team in here.
Like,
give me the bird. Give me an FU, and that's when I know I'm at a college football game. I also love being the most hated guy in the room every time, so that's also part of it too.
Walking out after, they just won a huge game. You could really say anything to us. We can't really.
Me and you had completely different walking out
can't
experiences.
Defend ourselves, and guys like. Man, that's a heck of a game. Y'all got a great team. The first guy I see, he's like, "That's a great game. We really enjoyed having y'all. Great team." And then he's like, "We wish you the best for the rest of the season. We're pulling for y'all. We're gonna be pulling for y'all in the SEC." He's like,
me on the other
need to
hand,
go back and you win the SEC.
I'm like trying to leave. We're walking over to the aisles. They are all standing in the aisles, just taking pictures, doing the alma mater. I'm like trying to get out. Like I want to leave because I'm trying to get out because we've got a 3-hour drive back to Washington. So I'm like, all right, I'm not really mad about the game at this point. Like at the fans, I'm just mad about, we lost.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to leave. They're all just standing there. I'm like, can we move? Can we move? Can we move? No one's moving. So then I cut back across the whole section, stepping on the foldable chairs, whole nine. I get called a punk A kid. And so then I'm going up the stairs. First guy I see right when I step up there, Roll Tide.
That's what we like to hear.
And then I said, of course, I'm not going to say what I said back to him, but I said, you're an arrogant. And so I was, and then I said, I hope you have fun the rest of the season.
Tide.
I've never heard Roll Tide.
We got a bunch of Roll Tides.
I think I heard more Roll Tide this weekend than I've heard from Alabama fans.
It was just that was kind of what they.
That was their thing.
Yeah.
What do we say? Go Buckeyes.
So
y'all play the hardest team in the Big Ten every 2 years or 3 years.
That is good.
So I get a Roll Tide, and then we're walking across, and that was probably the worst one I got. Or I got a hey, that's a tough game, tough day to be wearing orange or whatever. Yep.
You got the wrong color.
I just kept responding. Yep. So other than that, it was a real good environment. I will definitely say that's the coolest environment in college football. You walk in that stadium, you look around, you go, holy crap.
Yeah,
we're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy.
The pregame rush, it was just incredible. I just remember thinking, I don't know if it can get any louder in here. And
it did.
If you ever have a penalty that the fans think that they caused, it is over. It is deafening because they feel like that they caused it, like a false start or an illegal shift, or if you have to use a timeout, they go absolutely insane. So.
And my only hate on the in-game festivities they do this, the "We Are" Penn State chant, and at the end of it they go, "Thank you, you're welcome." It might be the stupidest thing. They go, "We are Penn State, we are Penn State, we are Penn State. Thank you, you're welcome." And I was like,
that's weird.
We are is fine though.
The "We Are" is fine though. So they were doing that. I don't know how their arms are still going because they shook the shakers the whole game.
Every second they showed the fans on TV, that's all you see. Just the pom-poms.
During commercial breaks, the whole nine. The wave that they do is one of the most impressive waves I've ever seen because the fans, I've never, not sitting in a student section at a college football game, stood that much.
Yeah, we stood every
The only
possession.
time you stand is when, and as I kept telling Eli during the game, all the homies hate the guy in the red shirt. When the ESPN guy steps out there for the commercial timeout,
take a seat. Yeah.
I have never sat in a game with that many commercial timeouts. And I've been to tons of college football games. It was ridiculous. But let's actually get to the game.
Yeah, the game.
I thought Auburn had a hard-fought game and just lost. Penn State, I think we had the better team. They just played the better game, looking back on it. Sean Clifford threw for 87.5% completion, which is one of the most impressive performances he's had in his career. The most impressive performance he had in his career. They didn't have a Bo Nix, and that's what I think that they stood up there. And Bo didn't have a bad game. Bo had a really good game. I just feel like Sean Clifford had a really good game. the running game was really solid for Auburn the whole night. I think really, and there's not really many things you can blame. Like, there's games where you can go, okay, this game is on this person. I think really the only thing you could really blame it on were a few coaching decisions that were just kind of here or there. I mean, they were kind of, if you do this, you do this. As an Auburn fan, my biggest struggle was that we had a 4th and 1 mentality all offseason, and we didn't go for it on 4th and 2 or 4th and 1 during the game. One where you're down 17-10 if you go, and was it 17-10 or 13-17 at that point?
We were down
17-10.
Yeah.
So I think that you go for it on 4th and 1 at that point, because at that point you're in there, you're driving, you have momentum. Let's go score. You don't kick the field goal. And then my other big one was, of course, the play that's going to be looked at for the rest of the season, and definitely until after next year, after we finally play Penn State again and Auburn, would be the 4th and 2 at the end of the game when you're down 28-20. There's 4 minutes on the clock. 3 minutes on the clock, a clock that should have been stopped earlier in the game that didn't get called because the officials were bad for both sides of that game. There was not one. You can't argue that it was going either way because it was bad all around. I mean, Penn State was duped a whole down of possession.
That is bad.
They punted on 3rd down. But, Bo, after the game, they said there was 5 options on the play. In my opinion, he looked at 1 the whole time. But Harsin also said that was a play that they decided on Thursday. If they were in that situation, they were going to run it. If it's me, I'm putting the ball in the best running back in college football's hands. 4th and 2, he scored on a lot longer earlier in the game. I just think that was that big. That's my biggest gripe. And I know I've talked a lot, but I'm just getting all my thoughts out because I'm gonna pass it over to y'all, and I'm not going to talk about this game again. Zacoby McClain, I'm gonna say it, unpopular opinion. It was targeting. It was targeting by rule,
Really?
but the rule is stupid. Change the rule, please, because what's his last name? It wasn't Dotson. Number 3.
Washington.
Washington. By rule, yes, his head is down, so he becomes a defenseless player, but he's still extending his arms, so he's still active in the play. He's stretching out for the end zone, so I don't know how like what he said, Zacoby McClain said, do you want me to let him score? I mean, if he's stretching out his arms, then let him hit him. They called it targeting because he was a defenseless player by rule. That's my only problem. He hit him, it was targeting, but the rule is stupid. It needs to be changed. I'm done.
I'm not going to say anything about Auburn just got beat by a pretty good football team. I don't know who's better. Played again, played a neutral site, played at Auburn. The outcome may be different. They gave themselves a lot of chances to win the game, which you can't ask for anything else. The fumble before halftime was really my sort of, I was like, dang, that really hurt us. I even texted y'all, and I was like, that might be the game. And it was in the third quarter, first play of the third quarter. And it ended up being the game if you think about it. I mean, they went down and
100%.
scored, and, we got beat by that possession. But I'm not upset. I think Auburn really played as hard as they could. And,
Completely agree.
Being up there, for people that aren't there, you don't understand it until you're in there. I'm speechless. I really am. It's just like it's so hard to fathom how loud it gets, and to be able to even compete in that environment. I was proud of them. I thought they played their hearts out. So, yeah.
And you got to be proud of the O-line too, because they had one false start and 1 illegal substitution that was noise related, probably.
Yes,
that's very impressive. That was one of the things I thought was good too.
I'm not down on anybody. I just think it's a hard fought football game. Can't ask for much else. We got a good close game and an awesome experience. Loved every minute of it, and I would go back if I knew the outcome. I would still go back and do it all again. So. No complaints here. I thought everybody played well, and I thought Auburn played really hard, and that's all you can ask for. Give yourself a chance to win the game. We didn't come through, and we'll see them next year. And they were all talking about coming down to Jordan-Hare, which I thought was cool. They're really excited. A bunch of their kids are excited to come to Alabama, and I'm like, there's not a lot to offer, but come on, bring it on.
You'll see a swag
we'll
surf.
welcome you.
Yeah. Clay, what was your opinion?
The only takeaways I had is one, Dotson is an absolute stud.
Yes, he is.
He is all that he is cracked up to be, and probably more. I said Bo Nix didn't have to play great to win this game. He just needed to play okay to give them a chance. He played okay. He gave him a chance. But when Sean Clifford plays great, it's going to be tough to beat that.
They helped Sean Clifford out a lot. with their schemes. They got him some good easy throws to start
Those
the game.
screens killed us because we were not pressing all night.
And he threw 4 incompletions the whole game compared to Bo's. That's quick math right there. 16.
And I'll give Bo credit on this. He had 8 passes that were. They said they were catchable balls that were on receivers. I just saw that stat today.
But other than that, it's just, I mean, Auburn definitely played good enough to win. The run game was nice, but I don't know. It's just tough to go there and win, especially when your quarterback, when the opposing team's quarterback is going to play a near perfect game. It's just tough break for Auburn. But I thought they were impressive. Just I don't think they're as good of a team right now, but here maybe by next year they will be. So we'll see.
And Penn State's defense,
really good.
Sorry, Blake, but
They're
Penn
really
State's defense,
that's what I was just about to say.
Tough.
I was not expecting Penn State's defense to just come out there and show out like that. Like, I mean, they had how many stops did they have? I don't even know, but they played very well, covering wise, and
they shut down our receivers the whole night. Our receiver group probably had arguably with the defensive line the worst night out of the two, I would say. But yeah, I'm with y'all 100%. That defense was great. They're a great team. They're gonna be legit in the Big Ten, and I thought that was a lot to say from what everybody like Kirk and all those guys were saying after the game. They were like, okay, this team is legit. They're hungry for a title this year.
Yeah.
And so if they go undefeated, I would have to say that they've got 2 impressive wins.
I've shot up to number 6 in the rankings.
And we'll move over to Sure Thing or Sham in a second. But Eli, I've got this question for you, and I'm not going to ask y'all this because y'all aren't Auburn fans. But as an Auburn fan, okay. As an Auburn fan, Blake's asking for one more thing.
Yeah,
Blake, go for it real quick.
Go ahead.
I just have to say, Auburn's face mask, that changed the entire uniform. I will say that looked very good. It looked like y'all changed the entire thing.
So what about? I had no idea, and so at game day we got there about 6:30. I saw them putting the helmets out on the front.
Yeah,
and I was like, dang, they put a white face mask, idiots. I'm like, what idiots?
See, I didn't even
Auburn
notice
has
that.
never worn a white face mask. That's what I was thinking. I was like, who put that on the helmet? And then it dropped about an hour later that they were going to wear white face masks, and game day was ahead of the.
It looked
ahead of the
clean.
curve.
Well, and Corso, he was showing the helmets left and right before the game started.
It had the white face mask in?
Yes, he was showing us the helmets, like doing this and making people chant. Never noticed it once. I didn't even notice
it as soon as I saw it.
See, I didn't even notice that. Never picked up on it once.
I was like, come on, game day.
I never noticed it either.
It was
another awesome experience.
Yeah, it was
being
really
behind
cool.
game day is fun.
Yeah,
so
sweet.
I thought it was a overall good weekend. As an Auburn fan, this is my last question. We'll move on to Sure Thing or Sham. For me personally, with the rest of the schedule, which is really tough, it gave me a lot of confidence into games that I wouldn't have been as confident going into the rest of the season. I feel like we have a shot in the rest of our games, if that makes sense, because of this game.
Here's what I'm going to say about that. They're not going to play in a tougher scenario, and I know we go to Baton Rouge in 2 weeks, but I don't know how it's going to be tougher than that. And you're not going to see many better corners and safeties than Penn State has. Those guys are athletes, and they've played really well all year. I think Penn State is a very quality football team, and I do think that will prepare us. But the SEC gauntlet we got ahead is insane.
I just feel like besides Georgia and Alabama, there's not many better teams than that team that we played. And Georgia and Alabama were studs. What? Sure Thing or Sham?
Let's get it.
We have no idea what this topic is.
Yeah, it's
Are we buzzing in? I think that's fairest.
buzzing in.
Buzzing.
For the
I
answer.
figured we'd just.
Oh, yeah, no, we all say our own
Yeah,
thing.
ding dong.
My fault. That's on me. Go ahead.
All right. So the topic for Sure Thing or Sham is going to be college classes.
Oh,
the topic-
and you were acting like this was bad.
I know. It just
thought-
popped in my head.
Earlier, he was telling me Star Wars
you
stuff,
could
and I was
sign
like,
up for this class at some university.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the name of the class and what college
Okay.
you can give it at.
okay.
All right. So the first one is going to be a selfie class that you can take at USC.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I think that's a sure thing.
Sure thing.
So all three sure thing. It's a sure thing.
That just seems like a USC thing.
It might be the most USC thing. Ever.
Southern Cal, right? Not South
Yeah.
Carolina.
Hashtag first, let me take a selfie.
All right. So the next one is going to be the physics of Star Trek. You can take it at Santa Clara University.
Sure thing.
Sham.
Sure thing.
It's a sure thing.
Wrong.
I can't believe that's a sure thing.
When you said Santa Clara University, I was like, yep, right there.
All right, the next one is going to be the coding behind Twitter, Texas Tech University.
Sham.
Sure thing.
It's a sham.
That is correct.
That one's kind of tough.
Wrong.
Didn't even think about it.
Okay.
I would
That
have
sounded
definitely
real.
think
It
that
does
was
That
real.
sounds more real than
Did
the
you make
other
that up
two.
yourself?
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, that's a great fake.
I mean, that was dumb me asking if you made that up because I know you should have made that up, so that's bad.
The next one is how artificial intelligence will finish your homework for you at University of Denver.
That is fake. Sham. That's a sham.
University of Denver really makes me think this is real.
Didn't know there was a University of Denver. I'm gonna go sure thing.
I'm going to go with sure thing here, too, as well.
It's a sham.
Wrong.
I looked into the eyes.
Correct.
All right, Blake, cover your face because he keeps claiming that he can read you.
Oh, I'm a reader. I'm not looking at Blake.
All right.
I'm looking at the camera.
The next one is going to be street fighting mathematics
Sure
at
thing.
Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Sure thing. Sure thing.
Eli.
Sure thing.
It's a sure thing.
That
I want to take that.
correct.
MIT. Isn't there a guy from Schultz who went there?
Clay Davis.
Clay
that-
Davis.
that-
Please
no,
let me know if you're going to take
that's
this test.
that's not Massachusetts.
Oh, I thought he said Institute
It's
of
in
Technology.
It's MIT.
Oh, it is
That's
MIT.
what it is. Yeah,
Okay,
there we
sorry.
go.
Shut
That
up, Clay
class
Davis.
is based off of the Street Fighter game.
Okay, I was going to say, I thought he said MIT.
I thought you just said Massachusetts.
Imagine paying hard-earned money for that class.
But yeah, Clay Davis
Okay.
went to MIT. That graduated with me.
I wonder how many students actually take that class, though.
I mean, if they offer
I
it.
hear,
Yeah.
I hear it's
There's gotta
packed
be a-
out.
Yeah.
Word on the street is
Word
it
on
is
the street.
That's what I
bumping
heard.
there.
Sorry.
What's the score right now?
Clay 4, Dax 3, Eli 3.
So I've said 4.
Correct.
You said 5.
I've said 5.
Yeah. How many do you have left?
Just
read
keep,
the
just
next
keep,
one.
just
Okay.
keep
Just
I'm
keep
reading.
going.
keep
Let's
going.
not make him do
I'm going
math.
to keep going until I run out.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is going to be the art of walking at Center College in Danville,
Sure
Kentucky.
thing. Sure
Yeah, that's a
thing.
sure thing.
The art of walking.
Sure thing.
Sham.
It's a sure thing.
We're all knotted up at 4.
Wrong.
Dude, when his eyes were wide
I
open,
could-
he was like, "Are you sure?" He was like,
I thought I
"The
could.
art of walk." I was like,
I thought I
"Sure
could
thing."
make the jump.
That would have really put you out in front.
No,
Shoot.
because
All right.
you know what you got to do? You got to walk before you jump.
The next one is great writers and thinkers of Saturday morning cartoons at University of Dayton.
Sham.
Sham.
That sounds so real.
How does that sound real?
It does
so
sound real.
specific.
Okay, you ruined it, Sham.
It's a sure. No, I'm just kidding. It's shame.
I was gonna say sure
Wrong.
thing until you opened your mouth.
Yeah.
How many more we got left?
I think I got 2 more.
Oh,
All right.
all right.
Do we,
Yeah.
We're
do we
not
get
up
the
at
10?
5. Yes.
No, wait. I have 3 more.
Okay, so that'll make it 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is how to stage a revolution at Ohio State University.
Sure
Sham.
thing.
Sham.
It's a sure thing.
Dude,
let's
That
No
sounds,
way.
that
That's
sounds
like-
too real.
Wrong.
That sounds too real.
Yeah,
That sounds
it is
too
Ohio
real.
State.
Too
That
real.
sounds
It
like
is
an
Ohio State.
Ohio State
Yeah, and it
specialty.
sounds like you got lazy and just came up with a basic college.
Yeah.
I
swear
agree.
that's
That's
real.
why I went with
Let's go.
All right, the next one is
Dang.
surviving the coming zombie apocalypse at Michigan State.
Sure thing.
Sham.
Sham.
No.
It's a sure thing.
Let's go. Way.
I win.
Blake won. I mean, Dax won. Golly.
Well, I got one more.
That's all right.
I think I've heard that class before, like on like a random fact
Oh
thing.
my
So
gosh.
I thought it was fake, and then he said Michigan State, and I was like, definitely fake.
Yes.
Dude, the whole right when he said surviving a zombie
He went Ohio
apocalypse.
State, Michigan State back to back. I was like,
When you said surviving zombie apocalypse, sure thing. There is some idiot out there who's teaching
yeah.
that class.
Shoot! Dadgummit. What's the last one?
You're so
Last
far away
one.
from the mic and still picked up there.
Last one is how to watch TV at Portland State University.
Sham.
Sure thing.
Sham.
It's a sham.
Okay, mate. What'd you
Wrong.
say? What'd you say, Eli?
I said Sham.
Okay, so we tied. You said
second.
sure thing.
Yeah, but I win.
Yeah.
Just
If
one.
which one to freak up on?
Yeah, you
I
tried to
messed
get one
up
on
and I
us.
slammed the table because
It
I knew it
was-
was stupid.
That was a good one, Blake.
I can't remember.
Blake, that was really good. And you acted like that was going to be so
I
bad.
just felt like it wasn't that good.
Very good.
Good job, Blake.
I rather enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I mean, I won it too, but yeah, that sure thing or Sham. Hey, everybody give Blake.
Thank you.
Good job, Blake. Well, you know what time it is.
I think I do.
Hello, friends.
Gonna get copyrighted someday.
For sure.
Not
yet.
today, though.
Not today, though. Give me some nucks there. Blake, air nucks. All right, well, we got NFL Week 2 recap. We're going to do it a little bit different because we agreed that last week we gave you a bunch of random games
we were
that
all over
really
the
didn't
place.
help you. And so, to clarify, yes, we are recording this usually on a Sunday, drops on a Monday. We will cover the Monday night game on Thursday's episode every time. So, we're going to do biggest winner, biggest loser, and player of the week. Clay, Matt, go ahead and start me off with your biggest winner of this week for the NFL Week 2.
My biggest winner of the week. A lot of teams had a lot of big wins, but I took the Dallas Cowboys on the road at the Chargers. I feel like this was a very important game for them, especially coming so close to beating the defending Super Bowl champs. Holding that Chargers offense to 17 points speaks volumes on how far this defense has come, because last year, if they would have played, I would argue that LA would have dropped at least 40. Held them to 17. Dak wasn't great. Neither was Justin Herbert. Herbert definitely played better than Dak, but nonetheless, I think Dallas is improving on defense. The offense is loaded, and it's going to put up points. I know they didn't put up a crazy amount yesterday, but they will on most weeks. It's going to come down to, can you get stops? And they held an explosive offense to 17, which in today's NFL, that is very impressive, especially being on the road. I thought this was a huge win for them, especially losing last week. It's such a heartbreaker. You needed this one. You don't want to start 0-2 in two heartbreaking losses, which it had potential to lose in another heartbreaker. So I think this is a huge win for them, and it's looking like they're the favorites in their division. So that's my winner of the week. Blake, who'd you have?
My winner of the week is the Raiders. They went on the road against the Steelers and absolutely torched that defense.
Well, they beat your Super Bowl contender, so.
Yeah, and I'm starting to regret that.
Don't worry. People who make bold predictions on this show always
They
start
don't
to
go
go back
through.
and regret
They
that.
don't go through.
But that Steelers defense is very deep,
Yeah.
and they just absolutely killed them.
Derek Carr has
Derek
been
Carr.
beyond impressive.
Earn me up.
Almost MVP caliber so far. I know
Let's
it's
go.
I know it's 2 games, but
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
Eli, what about you?
My winner of the week is the Tennessee Titans. Wait, I don't have the shirt on.
What in the
I
world
wore
was
it
that?
earlier. I had the shirt on
What?
before I came here.
Auburn ain't an NFL team. Come on, man.
I will defend him. He did all
Thank
day.
you.
He
I
did.
had a Titan shirt on all day. Down 14 in Seattle. Not many people come out of there with a win, especially down 14 in the second half. I was keeping up with it on my phone, and I was like, no, they're getting beat. They're 0-2. And sure enough, they, grind it out, get it back to get it into overtime. And then this is something that, was sort of overlooked. Both teams had the ball in overtime, and Tennessee managed to have the ball, punt it away, and get it back and win the game. Huge win for them. More than anything, they just needed to get a W, and doing it in that fashion can really, help you in the long run. I just think that was a huge win for the team. They needed that to not go 0-2, and to win a game in that fashion is big for them in the future.
For me, my biggest winner of the week was the Baltimore Ravens. Sunday Night Football, you come out and make a statement against the Chiefs, who arguably looked really good last week. Look, here's the deal. Going into that game, Lamar Jackson was 0-6 when going into the fourth quarter, down points. They came back.
Got him one.
The second biggest comeback against Patrick Mahomes in his career. Jackson responded in that fourth quarter with a drive of 56 yards and 68 yards, both for a touchdown. Guys, when I say this, your minds are going to be blown. Are you ready for this?
We're ready.
That is Baltimore's first win over Kansas City since 2012 when Joe Flacco beat Matt Castle. They have been the kryptonite to the Baltimore Ravens for the past 9 years. Have
That's
not
insane.
been. And so, for Lamar, it's a big win. It's a big statement. Everyone always says he's a choke artist, and he showed that he can come back, especially with a team that is so depleted injury-wise. Everyone's out. Harbaugh said it best. I'll just never, ever not have faith in him to make a play in any situation. Shows best. They need a first down. Harbaugh asks him, do you want to go for this? Lamar says, heck yeah. He uses a different word, but he says, heck yeah. He gets the ball 2 yards behind his O-line, takes it, gets the first down in the ballsiest play call I've seen from Harbaugh.
Very.
We talked about it before the show. We all love John Harbaugh on this show. Guys, I can't help but think they're not the biggest winner from this weekend. Primetime matchup.
Yeah.
My fantasy team, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you suck. Let's go and move to our biggest loser of the week, who could possibly and potentially be mine, is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But I'm not going to say mine yet. So, Clay Mack, what's yours?
Just one more thing on the Ravens. I was so happy for Lamar because he has not been able to beat Mahomes, and he did it last night. So that was huge for him. I was stoked. I love watching the Chiefs lose in general. But
Oh, my gosh.
just a side note. My biggest loser of the week could have been the biggest winner of the week last week. That's the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, man.
An absolute collapse.
What does that say about the Packers?
Yeah, an absolute collapse. You drop 38 on a solid Packers defense, and then you go drop 7 on a Panthers defense who, I mean, let's be real, the big names really aren't there. You got a rookie, J.C. Horn, and Jeremy Chin, but, I mean, compared to Green Bay, that defense is not as good.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, the Panthers could have been, honestly, the team of the week.
Yeah.
But for New Orleans, Jameis did not play good at all. You scored 7 points. Kamara had 5 yards rushing. He's on my fantasy team. It didn't cost me, but need you to pick that up, buddy. He only ran the ball 8 times because they were losing the whole game.
Yeah.
But this quarterback situation, Jameis was great week 1, but this has kind of been like his career, man. It's just you have a really good game, and then you have this. He threw for 111 yards and 2 picks, no touchdowns. I don't know if this says more about how good the Panthers are. And shout out to Sam Darnold, who is absolutely killing it right now. He's kind of spitting in the Jets' face. But I really like the Panthers team, but I don't know, the Saints I feel like took the biggest hit after such a what's the word I'm looking for? Impressive week 1
They
win.
ate the W week 1.
Yeah, and I guess he didn't. I guess his trainer didn't tell him to be prepared this week.
Where was that trainer at?
I'll tell you one thing.
They were not prepared for this one.
Jameis didn't live in preparedness. He lived in that little mindset before he could remember what his trainer told him this week.
But Carolina's 2-0, so
I'm telling you, my division, my second place in that division, looking really good right now.
same. Eli, the Hawks aren't, or the
Yeah,
Falcons aren't
it's
looking too great.
Very
So,
impressive.
Blake.
My biggest loser of week 2 has got to be the Giants. On a Thursday night game, you're winning the game. Well, before that, even Darius Slayton dropping a wide open
Yes,
touchdown
so bad. That
pass.
was so bad.
I mean, it was a little far, but he still should have caught that.
You're an NFL receiver.
If it hits your hands, catch the ball.
Yes. But Washington gets up there in a field goal, misses the field goal
For the win.
and you're offsides.
So bad.
Oh, my Lord.
Not to mention the interception that gave him the ball back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
this
they
whole
line
thing
back up,
was-
kick it, win the game. It's just, that's awful.
So watching that game, Blake, we were actually in D.C. the night of, probably 20 minutes from the stadium, and that was pretty cool. Dax was really pulling for his Giants. His hot take on our first segment of hot take was that the Giants would win their division.
And Daniel Jones, big comeback player of the year.
And-
or most improved.
So
He played good
He did play really good.
Dax was pulling for the Giants, and
against my own defense in fantasy.
Yeah, and they win the game because the missed kick, and then you get the offsides. But the way their coach responded, I like that, Dax. That's
And then
positive. He said he wasn't going to blame it on anybody, although the whole nation blamed it on
I blamed it. I eloquently tweeted out
Yeah.
at New York Giants, cut Dexter Lawrence, just screwing my hot take.
It's clearly his fault.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is.
How do you line up offsides on a kick?
Especially a kick of that magnitude.
my God.
If
kick.
anything, you were 5 yards away from. I mean, you were not getting offside.
Line up in the neutral zone on a play, anything. A kick. I mean, come on.
Can't do that.
Can't do it.
Watching a game in the I didn't know there was Washington fans that I've never met. Oh, Football
You didn't
team.
know they were going to cheer for Washington and Washington.
You better be careful that you don't use another word
Football team.
like
fan.
guardian.
I've never,
Yeah.
you just don't meet those guys. And then, like, being there, there's, like, everybody has on. It's their game day. So that was cool to see. But
There's a real ecstatic fan right beside us.
Sorry
We went
to-
to a sports bar. It was really cool. They great restaurant. We had the steak bites. I called them tips.
those were good.
They were really good. But yeah, I mean, we were joking like we should have just bought tickets
we
to that
should've went
game.
on to that
I'm glad
one.
we didn't though because it was pouring down rain. But what's your biggest loser of the week, Eli?
Biggest loser of the week is the Vikings.
Pain.
Oh.
They win
was-
the game.
There was some optimism there. Week 1, you get beat by the Bengals in overtime. You know, is that a good loss? Probably not. You get the Cardinals the next week and you compete with them and give yourself a chance to win it. The Cardinals, who I think is a really good football team this year, and then you just can't execute on special teams and miss the game winner. So big losers there for Minnesota. You're in both games. Probably, arguably should win both of those, and now you're 0-2.
My biggest loser, I mean, was really a really impressive performance. I mean, Zach Wilson, 19 for 33, 210 yards, 0 tutties, but he made up for it with 4 interceptions.
Let's go.
He was seeing ghosts all day long. Let's go ahead and go through their rushing stats. 11 for 59, 0 touchdowns. 12 for 50, 0 touchdowns. 5 for 24, 0 touchdowns. And then Zach Wilson, 3 rushes, 19 yards, 0 touchdowns. But let me tell you, the best in performance, the best stat line. Kicker, not Braxton Berrios, Matt Amendola, 2 for 3, 6 points. You score 6 points. No offensive game. The Jets,
Suck bad.
they are very bad.
The Jets be the
and
Jets.
I feel bad because I really like Robert Salah. I think he's a good coach. But did he inherit a dumpster fire? They may be worse than last year.
Oh, no.
Let's just point this out now. If you somehow find a way to screw up getting the number 1 overall pick again this year, that's a loss of a season.
They're asking Zach Wilson to do so much, and he is just not. I don't think it's that he's not capable. He's just not ready right now. It is his second game, and you're making him just continuously throw the ball down the field.
If you're a Jets fan the rest of the season, do not expect to win a game. Just hope to score a touchdown.
Yep.
His stats look honestly better than they did because they're at the beginning. He was like 4 for 10 with 4 picks.
Yes.
So
I mean,
he made up for it there a little bit.
I wish they would add his completions over for his interceptions because at least he was hitting somebody at some
That's
point
true.
in that game. So that's my biggest loser, Zach Wilson. I know it's the Jets. I know I'm picking on him, but I mean, come on, dude. You're number 2 overall pick, and you've thrown 4 picks in one game.
I think that's 6 picks. I think he threw 2 last week.
And he can't even hit their other first-round pick.
Elijah Moore.
Yeah. Can't even get him the ball.
I'll tell you one thing. They really picked that one good.
Yeah.
I mean, in their defense, there wasn't like there was a multi-generational talent just available there.
I mean, I'm
Because you messed up during the season and won an extra game and missed out on
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence, therefore putting Urban Meyer in the NFL coaching ranks. What's your best player of the week?
I wanted to pick Lamar. I really did, just because of what he did. But I got to watch this guy firsthand tear apart my entire Colts team. Cooper Kupp, 9 receptions, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns.
It's pretty tough.
He was literally everywhere on the field. And it's not like he was catching it and he was catching it. He was running 20 yards down the field every time. And you're wondering, where the crap is everybody? Kenny Moore got absolutely thrown into the grass because he stiff-armed his face into the dirt.
Rumor has it his face mask is still there.
I was amazed. I was like, because Cooper Kupp is so underrated, but I've never really watched him firsthand like tear somebody apart. He did it to the Colts, of course.
Well, and he's coming off injury too. Like people forget
and he
that.
has a freaking stud quarterback now. So I mean, he's just everywhere on the field. He literally is in motion almost every play. He's always open. That was my player of the week. He was a stud, and he got a ton of fantasy points.
But like, who's your player of the week?
My player of the week is my fantasy quarterback, Kyler Murray. Man's threw for 400 yards, 3 tutties. Absolute
Best word in football.
stud.
One of them to the man Rondell Moore.
The dog Rondell Moore.
Puts up 34 fantasy points
That's
2 weeks in a row. I mean,
Blake's fired up.
can't ask for more.
Can't ask for more.
And I hate to say it because I may jinx myself. but he's looking like he could win the MVP this
Well,
year.
you just screwed yourself for
I know.
the rest
I
of the
definitely
season.
did.
That'll
Good
be
job.
a good clip in 4 weeks.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to my pain.
Yeah.
Hey, go follow our TikTok at Follow Through Show. You
Thanks.
can see my pain there.
All right, Clay, since you didn't take him, honorable mention Tyler Lockett, absolute stud, went off in the Tennessee game. But a big part of Player of the Week is going to be a win, and they didn't get that. So I'm going to take Lamar Jackson, Clay, since you didn't. He threw 2 picks. He threw one early for a pick 6. What do most quarterbacks do? That ruins their day. They're normally, checking out of the game. Just that really messes them up. Against the Chiefs, he battled back and finally beat Mahomes. Mahomes hasn't lost in September in the NFL.
Or thrown a pick, I don't think. I think I saw
I think
that
that's
too.
right. He's never lost a game
Really?
in September. And like you said, the Ravens, Dax did a good job with the Ravens. They haven't beaten the Chiefs since 2012. To get that win in the fashion he did, to struggle early, he went 18 for 26, 239 yards, and then he rushed for 107 and 2 touchdowns, which is the big key to me, and none bigger than the 4th and 1 rush. Put it in your playmakers' hands. A lot of trust from Harbaugh going out there and asking him, hey, you want to go for it? I like what they did, and a big win for them. So Lamar Jackson, Player of the Week.
A guy that y'all know I love, Tom Brady, my Player of the Week. 44-year-old man has thrown 9 touchdowns in 2 weeks. He threw another 5. He's a dog. Just an absolute dog.
It's an honor. It is an honor.
And it's an honor. I mean, him and Gronk reached their 100th passing touchdown. They are 14 shy of Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. And I would say that it is definitely breakable this year. I'm going to make a bold prediction, which I could screw my guy to.
Right,
Tom Brady
Clip.
could, and I'm not going to say he's going to, but he could reach 50 touchdowns this year. 17 games, you're at 9 touchdowns through 2 of them.
So you need 41 over 15. Yeah, you need 2.5 a game. So that's actually very.
I think that I really think he's going to reach 50 unless they sit him later in the season. But I think that's a really good game from him. He just looks like he gets younger each week. He came out after the game, throws 5 touchdowns in the game. 5. I could have played better. I'll look to do better next week, is what he says. Earlier in the week, his trainer is asked, hey, what do you think about Tom? Oh, he'll play till he's 50. Tom Brady, we're watching.
He's like fine wine.
Yeah, we're watching the Michael Jordan of our generation.
That TB12 treatment.
He is. He's so good.
And he's
It
keep
was just
feeding
impressive.
Gronk too, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, and I wanted to put Gronk as my honorable mention. Great game for him as well. People who thought he was washed, you look like an idiot now. Oh, yeah, he's been partying too hard.
catches everything.
He does. If it hits his hands, it's going to be a reception every time. So Tom Brady is mine. That's our NFL Week 2 recap coverage. My favorite moment of the week. And I'm not going to dance, but Blake, would you like to dance?
I don't want to.
Okay.
Blake.
I don't want to
Blake
embarrass
can't.
myself.
Okay. Okay.
can't.
Oh, it's the
Yeah,
Slim
one of y'all
Jim
can get
again.
jiggy with it.
Oh,
Always gets jiggy.
I'm not gonna get jiggy with it. But hot in here, hottest takes on the interwebs. I wonder if anybody else does some hot takes.
I don't know.
I'll
If
tell
they
you.
did, they probably,
Wouldn't be as good as
They
us.
probably wouldn't credit to them talking dumb heads. Clay,
Ooh.
what's your hot in here hot take of the week? Mine might be that you can't be us.
Okay.
Swing.
I almost said this last week. I'm gonna pick up my microphone. Is it gonna fall?
Pick that microphone up.
I almost.
Pick it. There you go.
I like this. You're gonna hear my hand moving though. I almost said this maybe a week or 2 ago, and I stopped myself because I was gonna be like, I'm gonna sound stupid
Oh gosh.
when they lose on September 18th, but they didn't. They won, and I'm comfortable to say it now. I'm not comfortable, but if I wait any longer, it's not going to be near as impressive.
Let us hear it.
Cincinnati Bearcats will be in the college football playoff this year.
Wow.
It's lining up. Clemson sucks. Oklahoma is going to lose somewhere along the way. That's 2 openings. Maybe another SEC school gets in. That's 3. You need Oregon to suck or lose a game, but I think they're going to do it.
Let me not poke a hole here, but you also don't need Notre Dame to lose to Wisconsin this week.
That is if you are Cincinnati, you are the biggest Notre Dame fan in the country because you play them next week
You need them to
at
be
Notre
undefeated.
Dame.
Your hot take could be a 1 week wonder.
You're the 3rd college football hot take so far. Dax has already fell through. Eli's
Still living.
We're here.
But
Really?
I'll tell you one
It's
thing,
there.
Penn State may be the reason why it doesn't go.
Eli's is still there, but it could fall through.
Cincinnati,
I like it, though. I'm here for it.
put them in. It's time. It's
Mark it
time.
down.
They may get beat by 100 points,
But put them in.
but you'll know. At least you tried it, and you can build from there.
I'm okay with that.
Oh, man. I'm here for it. Blake, what's your hot take of the week? You going to
My
keep
hot
holding your
take:
mic?
Yeah, I like it.
went a different route from Clay, and my hot take is on a baked brownie. The corner piece is the best part of
That
it.
is
Cap.
that's
That's awesome.
Take.
Great
That's
take.
The middle,
Oh, it's so
It's
not
crunchy.
Gooey.
So
the
stupid.
the corner is got the best part of crunchy and gooey in it.
Nice mix. I
It's-
agree.
And it's
the
also
perfect
like
part of a
it's also
brownie.
like you can dip it in the milk, almost
Yeah.
like an Oreo.
Yeah, and it's perfect with ice cream
All right,
too.
I can agree.
Blake, you get some of the center that's a little bit, gooey,
Yeah.
but you still get crust.
Yes, it's the
It's a
perfect.
mix. I agree.
piece.
It's a good hot take.
I don't agree. I love a middle piece. I don't like the crunch on a brownie, honestly.
But it's just like a
I don't
soft
like eating
crunch.
just like dough.
Yes, it's just like too gooey and soft.
Give me all the dough. I'll cut out like an inch
You'll
off.
cut out the crust.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just
Oh
to eat the
my
middle.
Oh, that'll be interesting because that's a
Oh.
pretty raging debate.
It seems like you spent a lot of time on that one.
I actually thought about it on the way over here.
Nice.
I was like,
You didn't have to say that. You could have been
You
like,
could have been like,
Well,
I
see,
thought this through for weeks.
it was one of my
it was
20 I
kind of
have.
like with my sure thing or Sham. Like, I was like, I don't think it's that good of an idea, but it could be.
I agree. I think it's gonna be
You
hot.
need to quit being so hard on yourself.
You really
Blake.
doubt yourself. We need some
Kind of bringing me down how hard you're being on
Thursday's
yourself.
episode. We're having a self-confidence with Blake.
We're just gonna.
Segment.
The whole episode is gonna be complimenting Blake the entire time about where he succeeds in life.
I'll tell you,
Yeah.
Blake, your beard is looking really good today.
I'm telling
Hey,
you.
Like that hat is a good looking hat.
I love
that
that
is
shirt.
Where'd you get that watch at? Is that new?
I've had it
Blake,
for
that's a
like
good hot take.
almost a year.
That computer looks real nice over there. All right, Eli, what you got?
All right, this is sort of this may not be hot at all, but Penn State has the best environment in college football, and it's not close in my opinion. And I can't say that I've been to every stadium, obviously, but I just remember as they were coming out of the tunnel and the lights are flashing and all that. I just remember thinking, I don't know how you get any better than this. Huge compliment to Penn State. I've heard LSU, and whoever you're a fan of, you think you have the best environment, but I can easily say that
You're wrong.
for me personally, I think that I don't know how you match that. It is absolutely incredible. So they have the best atmosphere in college football, and it's not close.
My hot take. You haven't been to LSU. Penn State has the coolest environment in college football, but LSU has the toughest environment in college
Wow.
football.
We just play off each other's hot takes. I did not know that.
That's why I didn't tell you earlier.
That was
I didn't know yours either, though. I've been to LSU. LSU at night is the toughest environment in college football. You cannot walk into Death Valley. Penn State, it's really cool. But honestly, going back into that game, I didn't think the whiteout played a huge factor on us. We only had two penalties where the whiteout affected us. Now, it's really loud. It's the coolest environment I've been in, but I've been to LSU. It's tough. That night game in Death Valley, you're practically walking in already down a touchdown, in my opinion. I think that's why, and that's not a hate towards Penn State or Eli. I just feel like LSU, I witnessed it, both ends. I think Penn State has the cooler environment. I think LSU has a tougher environment.
Death Valley versus Happy Valley.
Nice. That was so good right there.
Good
Thanks,
job, Blake.
guys.
Blake, you are a genius.
That was Blake. That was
Blake.
such a good statement you just made.
Hey, Nux
I
to
sure like that hat.
Nux to us playing off each other. Didn't even know it.
Yeah, kind of. Hot takes literally contradict each other.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's cool stuff.
We think differently here at Fall Through. But yeah, no, I think it was a cool environment, but I think the toughest one I've ever seen Auburn play in is definitely at LSU. And I think when you play at night,
That's what I was.
it's
It's not Bryant Denny because
Yeah,
every
I was
game
gonna
I've gone
say
to, we've lost.
The fireworks when Penn State ran out. I mean, who does that?
yeah, and that's what
That's insane.
That's what I fall into the cool part of it.
Yeah.
And so I think more of on what the effect is like tough wise. So I think they're both great stadiums. There's no right or wrong there really. But make sure you're following us on Instagram at followthrough show, Twitter at FT through show. You can follow us on Facebook at followthrough, which is for what?
Your
You
parents.
can
Your
email us at followthrough.podcast@gmail.com. And you can follow us on TikTok at at Follow Through Show. I'm sure that there will be one of the hot takes in this episode clipped at some point. I've already been a victim of that personally.
Probably be a clip of freaking Notre Dame just beating the crap out of Cincinnati.
It's coming.
It's coming. Well, you can follow Blake at BlakeMCO2 on the Slim Jim Man Cam. You can follow Eli at Eli McCoy61, Clay at Clay2Mac, and you can finally follow me at Daxon Crow. No underscore, no official. Daxon Crow.
Turn you up.
Turn me up. Boys, any parting thoughts from this episode of Follow Through?
Just an awesome weekend. I'm just really happy.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about Washington. That part was awesome, too.
Give Zach Wilson the MVP right now.
Corner piece of a brownie's the best.
Bear down. I don't know what they say, but
It's bear down.
go Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It's bear down.
Bear down. Claw. Whatever. I don't know what they do. What is a bear cat? That's not even a real thing.
The claw.
You just think they don't exist.
Yeah, you just think
That's not a real thing. That's taking a bear and a cat and just that's not an
like
actual
a bobcat. I mean,
Yeah, very true.
Then they could be
Well,
the
thank you for
Bobcats.
joining us on this late release of Follow Through. We'll be back to normal schedule starting on Thursday. But I'll tell you what, until next time,
Peace out.
peace out.
A bear cat is real.